Hey, everybody. Don't forget, y'all come on in, come on in. Y'all come on in, come on in. Got a topic to talk about today. Y'all come on in, come on in, come on in. Got a little topic to talk about. It's a topic probably done hit everybody. Lottie and everybody. Y'all come on in, y'all come on in. I usually do the podcast at 5 o'clock. We're doing it a little earlier today, an hour earlier. Y'all come on in. Y'all come on in. Come on in, everybody. It's the 4 o'clock hour. Hey, George. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We got a hot topic today. Won't keep it long. I know everybody watching the game, getting all festive, and doing their thing. I want to bring more people in. Good evening, everybody. You have met your podcaster, Loriette Davis, of Don't Tell Me You Can't Do It. We coming in for a snippet, and our topic today is credit. Our topic today is credit. And good afternoon, Arnold. I'm glad you're able to join us. You know what to do after the podcast. Y'all come on in, come on in, come on in. I want to first give honor to Christ who's first and head of my life. I thank him for delaying my calling. I thank him for delaying. Hey, Brittany, your mama's here. I thank God so much that he delayed my end to allow me to see another day. I thank him so much. On Wednesday, I had another emergency room visit that almost took me out of here again, but the devil just keep throwing it, but God got me covered. I'm covered with the blood, and I continue to stay on my knees in prayer, asking God to take care of my health, because it seemed like dots be thrown at me. If it ain't my kids, it's my health. So I just give it all to God, because when you give it to God, you ain't got to worry about fighting no battles. He got you. I feel much better today. I thank God. I thank everybody for their prayers and well wishes. I just want to say my niece, Erica Holt, brought the word this morning in the New Hope Missionary Baptist Church. And I mean, my niece told that sermon up. You hear me? I got a little spizzit on my Facebook page. But I went to the house of the Lord to worship and to praise, and she gave a word today. And I also got my my spiritual covering today. I am covered by Bishop Randall Holt in the New Hope Missionary Baptist Church. God is my all, my earthly and my heavenly covering. But Bishop Holt is my spiritual covering. He is one of my spiritual coverings, and I thank him for just accepting me and taking me in, and he prayed for me and all of that good stuff. So I got a little word. I won't keep y'all long. I hope y'all joining in on Facebook land, Instagram land. And I want to talk about credit. Last week, I slapped around a little bit about excuses. A lot of people was inboxing me or whatever, and I still say the same thing. I say it last week, say today. If we'll set aside our excuses, hey, Shannon, if we'll set aside our excuses, a lot of things in our life will be better. But I only be talking to y'all. I've already talked this to myself before I talk it to y'all. Hey, sister-in-law, I've already talked it to myself before I talk to y'all. I talked to God about it. So last week we was talking about bearing the excuses and how our life will be so much better if we bury the excuses, because most of the excuses that we have in our life is what we make as an excuse. Oh, I ain't got this place of life. I ain't got this job. I ain't went to college. I ain't saved no money. I ain't did this. It's always I ain't did. And it's always because. And whenever because come into a sentence, it's always in a because excuse. So last week we touched on that. If y'all want to kind of replay last week, it was about excuses. And I always tell you ain't gonna get nowhere in life if you got more excuses than you got prosperity. If you got more excuses than you got pushing, then you gonna stay where you at. Just like the word this morning. If you've been doing the same thing 3 years and you ain't got nowhere, you gonna get the same results that you got 3 years ago. You got to change your mind and change your direction. So today we're gonna talk about credit. And the reason why I want to talk about credit so much is because credit defines us. When we born into the world and we have our children, you always get your birth certificate and you get a social security number, which later in life, that social security number becomes your credit number, as I may add. And we don't know how important it is if we was never taught that. So a lot of times that I find today, a lot of us have credit deficiencies because we was never taught growing up how important credit was. A lot of times people don't talk about it in their household, because back in my household, all my mama thought about is putting food on the table, roof over your head, and raising her 3 children. We was never taught that. You right, Rick? Hey, baby. We was never taught that. So when we grow up in life, we taught to go to school, graduate from school, go to college, go to the military, get married, have families, and that was the traditional way. But as you know, these days things are not traditional anymore. Some of them is not even following the biblical side of how it should be. Nevertheless, that's between them and God. But as far as the credit, hey, Mr. Freddie, as far as the credit, we're not taught how important credit is. It's not a subject that you talk about in your home. And I could probably contest, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But about 80% of us, you're right, Ms. Lewis, I'm teaching my kids that now. But when I was coming up, I was not taught that. And I'm sure if everybody could contest under the sound of my voice, 80% of the African-American homes, we was not taught about credit. And you're right, that I'm finna get there, Ms. Lewis. You absolutely right. And what happened is, this is the definition of credit, because the reason why I'm so much into credit, because I am a successor. I am a successful owner of 2 funeral homes. I'm in the process of God opening up another one. I bought a ranch home over $2 million. And I'm telling you these things because I'm going to tell you how important credit played a role in me obtaining these things. I'm not telling you these things because I don't brag and boast, because those are just the material things that we live with day after day. But I'm going to tell you how it's going to tie into my word in a minute. Credit is the ability of a customer to obtain goods or services before payment, based on the trust that payment will be made in the future. That's credit. Okay. A lot of us, when we're younger, we don't know anything about credit because we ain't taught that. Nowadays, we need to be teaching our children everything. So now I'm teaching my children, but they're grown now. And there's a thing that when you're born and you get that social security number, that becomes a credit score once you get older. So a lot of times when people go to college, they finish high school and they go to college, they get student loans. And that's credit because you're not paying for it right then. They're giving you credit. And a lot of times what happened with college students, they give them a lot of credit to me because a lot of us is credit illiterate. I'm going to say that because I was there too one time. A lot of us are credit illiterate. And so when we get in high school or college, we start getting these credit offers and we get them because they look good, because we're getting money that we don't have to pay for right then. But the setup in the long haul is that you don't pay for it, so I'm going to mess your credit up young and because you don't know no better. So then when you get older and know the importance of it, it's already messed up. So that's why it's important to talk to your kids about credit. Going into college is different between a loan and a grant. Most people need to get grants, not loans, because if you not stable enough, and a lot of times some of the college students don't even get the degree, but they got the debt. I got student loan debt, but I did get the degree. So you got double the whammy. You didn't get the degree, and you still got the debt. So if I'm gonna have the debt, let me get the degree so it can work for me later on. But nevertheless, these are things that was never taught to us about having credit and the stability of credit. So credit says a lot about you. A lot about you. In the business world, you could be an entrepreneur like me. You could be going out trying to buy a house, a car. Your credit will follow you for the rest of your life. And you hear a lot of, I'll say African-American people say, credit don't matter. You're a damn lie. Yes, it does. It matters. I don't care how much money you got, because you don't know the wave of it. So you talk with illiteracy because you don't know. But credit is so important. And the reason why it's so important, because it follows you. You can have a lot of money. You still need credit. Do you know the average rich person, that's what they live off of? They live off credit. You right, Ms. Lewis. Credit is so powerful, you have no idea. And you will never hear a person that got knowledge and wisdom on credit to tell you they broke when they ain't got no money, because credit is money. Credit is money. If you got credit, you got money. You can go put your hands on money. That's why credit is so important. So a lot of times when we're younger, and this happened to them when you use 85%, they mess up their credit when they're young. I did it because I didn't know, and ain't nobody teach me. Didn't nobody teach me, didn't nobody tell me. I told y'all I got my PhD in Hard Knocks University because I failed. I got up though. I made mistakes, but I didn't stay there. I lost a lot, but I didn't think about the loss. I thought about how I could turn that loss into a gain. It's all in your thinking. I told y'all the mind is a terrible thing to waste. That's why you got to change your thinking in order to be somewhere. So when I talk about credit, credit gives you numbers, and that credit score will help you or hurt you. And a lot of times as younger people, you have to teach them financial literacy. Like when I be talking about saving money, oh, I can't save no money because I ain't got no money. I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul, because that's because you're living above your means. If you go in your means, you won't be robbing Peter to pay Paul. But you living outside your means because you're trying to impress somebody that you got more than what you don't have. Basically, that's the whole nut of the game. A lot of times we fall into credit and financial deficit because we're living in an area that we don't supposed to be in. I used to stay in the city. I stayed there till I could do better to move out of the city. But you have to let it be like a ladder. And a lot of times I find that people are in financial deficit because they living above their means. Instead of them living where they could afford, they want to live above they can afford. Like my mama used to say, you got champagne taste, but you got beer money. And a lot of times that's what we do. And then another reason why people in the financial ruin is because they trying to buy a lot on the outside for people to think they got it, like the jewelry, the clothes, the car, the pocketbooks, and all it is. And they'll go in debt trying to make their outer appearance look good when their inside is all jacked up. And they getting in credit ruins because they can't save nothing. And the bottom line to credit is paying your bills. It's staying in a situation where you can pay your bills. And a lot of times we're where we at is because we living above our means, and we trying to impress people that honestly, I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all be thinking y'all impressing people by trying to be one way or another. Half of the time, people don't really care about what you think people care about. People really don't care about. Y'all listen to me. I be in front of a lot of people. I talk to a lot. People really don't really care about it. You care about that because you think they care about that. Well, really, honestly, they really don't care about that. And you living to impress. The only person you should be trying to impress is God. I live my life that I got to please God. Man ain't got no seat at my table. I'm trying to sit at the table where God wants me to sit. I don't care what people think. I don't care what people say. And I had to get to this point because, like I say, them same people that you trying to impress and you trying to make them think you all that in a bag of chips, they waiting on you to fall. So you have to put yourself in a position that is pleasing to you and God. And you got to ask God for elevation, not man. And when I say that, a lot of times we go out there, I'm going to say it's to get a fancy car because we want people to think we got it. Like I said again, the same people really don't care. You up at night wondering how you can pay for that. And a lot of times we get in credit deficits because we're living above our means. A lot of us got in credit deficit because we was younger and we didn't know no better. A lot of daddy and everybody didn't tell us. Your mama didn't talk to you about that at the kitchen table. Mama was keeping food on the table. Daddy was keeping food on the table. They didn't teach you about credit. And this is what is so important now, that you have to have a talk with your teenage children, your sons and your daughters, because that Social Security number will follow you from your arrival to your departure. It will follow you. I don't care if you change your name. That Social Security number going to follow you to your arrival in this world, to your departure out of this world. And they got it so now that when your death certificate is applied for, if your Social Security number ain't right, they will refuse to even process your death certificate. So it will let you know that that Social Security number travels throughout your life. So, and also follow you. It's like a criminal record, like Ms. Lewis said. It will follow you. I mean, it will follow you. That's one thing. You could seal your criminal record, but there's always somebody that could get into your record. Okay, but that Social Security number, you could change some digits. Back when I was younger, some mamas was using their children's Social Security numbers to turn on the lights and turn on the water and do things like that. And then when the kids became of age, the kids was already jacked up. But it came a place where they could have cleaned it up, because once they see your birthday, they know you weren't old enough to even obtain credit. I know some people dealt with it. But credit is vital. It's like how your heart beat. If you ever want to obtain anything in this world, you must establish credit. Credit is very important. It shows your trustworthiness. The people will look at you and base you. I'm talking about institutions. Financial institutions will base you on your Social Security number. And in so much manner, they should, because your Social Security number tells a lot about you. Now, I ain't talking about people that had fraud done on their credit. I ain't talking about them kind of people. I ain't talking about people your identity was stolen. I ain't talking about them type of people. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about people that had credit and they messed it up. And they messed it up due to the fact that they got something that they knew they couldn't pay for, like a credit card, or they went and got a car, or they went and got this, and they got what they knew in the beginning that you couldn't afford to pay for. And a lot of people say, oh, God gave me that. God ain't going to give you nothing that he bless you to pay for. So when them people say, oh, God gave me this, if you can't pay for that, God ain't give you that. God know your situation better than you know your situation. So when people say, oh, God gave me that, if your financial situation don't qualify you to get that, God didn't give you that. God give it to you when he qualifies you for it. God gives you what you qualified for. He don't give you what you ain't qualified for. So credit is based on trustworthiness. And I've been dealing with credit for quite some time, and I'm going to use my testimony about credit. That's why I can sit here before you, and I always tell y'all, when y'all come on my podcast, I'm naked and uncut. I don't give y'all nothing but the truth. You either take it or you stroll past my podcast. I bought a funeral home back in This July will be 15 years if I'm not mistaken. And when I bought the funeral home, I was raising my kids. I cared about credit, but I really didn't care about it. Mind you, I was a wife and a mother, and I had so credit, and I was getting by. I still didn't know the importance of credit. I bought a house, still didn't know the importance of it, just wasn't thinking till I really got to be a successor. And then I started learning and sitting. I told y'all I sit amongst people that have more than me and that could teach me something. If you can't teach me nothing, I don't entertain you with my ear gates. That's just me. So I got a funeral home with a rent, a lease with option to purchase. And all y'all up under the sound of my voice know about my 165th place. When I first moved there 15 years ago, I had a lease, the option to purchase. The man wanted to sell it, but I wasn't qualified at the time. So God showed me favor, and he blessed me to get it for 3 years. And in 3 years, I had to purchase it. My third year, I ran my credit like what? I had stuff on my credit that y'all know, you know what you do on your credit, that you just didn't pay, or you paid late and you paid it when you wanted, and you didn't take responsibility how you should have been with your credit. Trying to get a mortgage for $700,000 on a business and your credit score is in the early 6s. According to the scale I have, 300 to 629 is bad credit. I could be wrong. I'm just telling you statistically what I got. 630 to 689 is fair. 690 to 719 is good. Anything over 720 is excellent. Can you obtain great credit? Yes, you can. It's all what you're putting in. So I had to, 15 years ago, reestablish myself. And I had to change my thinking, because as a business owner, and you don't even have to own a business, you just could be human. Don't let nobody tell you credit don't matter. So I had to go to the creditors that I previously either didn't pay or I paid late, and make settlements with them and pay them so they could rescore my credit to qualify me to buy my funeral home. Come on now. Listen to what I just said. I went back to the creditors that I didn't pay or paid late or had the attitude, oh, I pay them when I feel like it. You may feel that way now, but when you really need some, you're going to really feel it with what you said. I had to go back and get all the creditors that was on my credit report that I didn't pay, or I paid late, and go to them and say, I need a settlement letter. I owe you $10,000. I can remember one of them very well. I had owed them $8,000. They gave me a settlement for $4,000. Now, how many people in that position at that time, they could come up with lump sums to make settlement letters to do that? I'm going to get to that, Sarah, about hiring people to do that. I'm a little bit against that in some ways. I'm not saying everybody like that, Ms. Lewis, but I'm saying some. So I had my sister with me, and my sister is a banker. She was been in the banking business for 20, 30 years. She got on the phone with my creditors, and she made settlements for me to pay off all of my debt and make settlements, and then send a letter to the credit bureau to get rescored. Okay? I live this life. When I get on here and talk about y'all, I give it to y'all blanket and raw. I don't think people could tell you nothing if they ain't been through it. I'm not going to tell a grieving mother I know how she feel when my sons are still. You can't tell people until you don't walk in the shoes of the person or the situation that you're dealing with. So anyway, I got my credit straight, and I learned to pay my bills. And a lot of us, we got bad credit because we don't like to pay no damn body. We don't like to pay bills. We don't like to pay bills, and I don't understand why, Because so is a man live it to the day you come in this world, to the day you live. You're going to pay some bills. Mama always say, it's three things you pay first: the roof over your head, the transportation that can take you back and forth, and the food on your table. Come on, you gonna pay somewhere. So you got to learn the importance of the credit. So as God took me up the success ladder, I started sitting around bankers that got millions and billions of dollars, and they started telling me the basic principle of credit. And I walked into a bank one day and I asked the people, I want $500,000. I was good for it on paper, but my credit score ran the 630s to 689. I told y'all before, that's fair. That's fair. Now people will give you something when your credit in the 600, but your interest rate so damn high, you been to pay for that 2 times. That's a whole nother topic, Bill. And I had a banker that said to me, I get very acquainted with people that could teach me something. See, most of y'all get a little arrogant if somebody got more than y'all or trying to tell y'all something y'all think nobody can tell. I don't do that. I jump in and I be writing down and I apply myself because I feel like God allowed them to be in my presence for a reason. Nothing happened by coincidence. God allowed them to be in my presence. So I met this banker. I won't call his name. He's a white guy. And he said, Lori, you make a lot of money. Your deposits and this and that. But your credit score. I say, but I pay my bills. At that point, I was paying my bills. But my credit score was in the 6s because I was maxing out my credit card. Talk to me, somebody. And a lot of people don't know that that's a bad sign. But like I say, sometimes if you don't know better, you don't do better. I didn't do better because I didn't know. Remind me now, I told you my sister fixed my credit. My credit was good. My credit was wise. But I had credit card and I was maxing them up. Maxing them up. Ms. Lewis just told you. You should obtain no credit card over 30%. And if it's over 30% before that cycle over with, you need to pay it under. And that was my deficit and a lack of knowledge. So this white man told me, pay down them credit cards. You will see what I'm saying. I say, really? I had about 10 of them. They all was paid on time, no late, R1s. But a lot of them was up to the limit. $10,000 credit card, you owe $9,000. I had them up high. Now, mind me, I could afford to do that. But it wasn't helping me on my credit score. And I wanted something to help me. You right, like Ms. Lewis said, you got to pay it before the due date. If you're over that 30%, you got to pay it before the due date. So I made a pact to myself because I always challenge Lori. And I say every month, and I know everybody ain't able to do this. I'm not saying you should do this, but I'm just telling you, you need to get your credit right because credit is important. Every month, I pay each of my credit cards like $1,500 every month. They asked me for $30. I gave them $1,500 to $3,000 every month. And I literally, within 6 months, had them credit cards down. If y'all go back on my timeline, I was going through my credit the other day, and I'm still not where I want to be because my goal is an 800. You got to have goals for yourself. Got to have business. I want an 800 credit score because let me tell y'all something. You see them advertising come to you. You get a car note for $299. You get this. You get a house note for this. You get this. That happens to the people that got 7 or better credit score. Your credit score depends on how much money you're going to pay. You could buy a car for $30,000. Yeah, your credit jacked up. You're going to get the car. Your interest rate going to be so damn high. That car going to lose value by the time you get through paying off of it. And if you ever try to trade it, you're going to be upside down. You're gonna be upside down. You're going to owe more on the car than what the car is worth. You could pay all your bills with credit card and use the money you were going to pay bills 2 days later. You really shouldn't be using cash if you got, talk to me somebody. That's how I do. I got American Express card. So what I did was I paid down the credit card. My credit score shot shot up. So I made goals for myself. Let me tell y'all something. Credit is something that should be taught. Y'all that got young children, even grandchildren, teach them about credit. Teach them about credit. Credit is a learned behavior. It's not nothing you're born with. It's a learned behavior. You got to learn how to pay your bills. Some people got a problem with paying bills that they create. You're always going to have bad credit. And a lot of times, and I'm not going to say a lot, most of the time, you in the credit situation you in because you put yourself in there. Just like the excuses. You put yourself into that. And you know how you put yourself in there? Because you want to live more than your income. Or you want it to impress more than what you know you could do. Most of the people that's in credit situations, they put themselves in them credit situations. Because if you know you're not diligent enough to pay a bill, you shouldn't be getting the credit. You shouldn't be getting it. You do with what you got until you could do better. And a lot of us don't go by that religiously. Do with what you got until you could do better. Most of us, we don't do that. We just want to do better in the beginning. I was going over a little segment with my sister the other day. You have to lead by example with your kids. You're absolutely right. But I'm going to tell you about Ms. Lewis. I lead by example with my kids and I'm still struggling. So you just got to stay on their back. I agree with that. A lot of people want success, but they think success is like Quaker grits. You boil your water, you pour your grits in there and stir. That's how grits made. But success don't work that way. Okay? I'm going to tell y'all something about success. It's like a tree you plant. It's like a tree you plant. You open that hole, you put that plant in there. You got to water it. Some of the seasons may not look like the plant is living, it's dying a little bit. You may have to get some fertilizer. You may have to take it out the pot that is in. You may have to reroute it. And then as it grows, you'll see a limb come over here. Limb, some season may look a little yellow like it ain't moving nowhere. Some season it may look like this. That's what it is, Kathy. A little bit of patience. A little bit of perseverance. And it's not microwavable. A lot of people with success is not microwave. And a lot of people, that's why they're not successful, because they want shit overnight. Excuse me, Bishop, the way I put it. They want it overnight. It does not happen. It has to marinate a little bit. God has to challenge you to see how much he could give you. A lot of times we're challenged because God got to trust us to see. I always told God when he blessed me to be successful, never give me nothing that gonna make me change who you made me. I don't care what it is. I never want money to change who I am. I want money to make me live better and to help other people. You have to work hard at success. You right, Rick, you know, success is hard work. Do it pay off? Yes, it do. But don't let nobody tell you that they just woke up and they got success. It don't happen that way. And a lot of times, a lot of us don't want to work. That's just like credit. We mess up our credit at a young age, but the good part about it is you can work and restore your credit. You can restore your credit. That's the good thing about it. Credit is a privilege that a lot of people are denied from it because they're not changing the way they do it. Credit is a privilege. Credit determines your interest rate. When I bought my $2 million house, my interest rate, I wanted a 2. I got a photo, but I got a good interest rate. That determines your payment, how you can pay back your loan. Okay? Credit can be damaged at a young age, but the good thing about it, it could be brought back again. And that's one of my things. And a lot of times when we go buy a car, a lot of people say, oh, I got the car. What the hell you paying on it? Then you have the car for 5 years. You try to trade the car and the bank say, you owe $30,000, the car worth $12,000. Like what? Then the first thing come to your mind, let me throw it in the river because I done messed up, but you wanted a car so bad. Instead of you getting that Toyota of that Toyota to sell. I had one. Get you a Toyota and drive in a Yugo till you could get a Lexus. Okay? You're right, Sue, upside down. Everybody want to ride in a Lexus, Rolls Royce, Bentley, Mercedes Benz. And how about you trying out the Toyota first? You know, my first car was a Toyota to sell. And Kathy say bad credit is a generational curse. I agree, then I don't agree. I think a lot of times it's what you're taught. And in my household, it just wasn't taught. My mama taught me success and to work hard. She never mentioned that I'm going to need the credit along the way. Maybe she didn't teach it because it wasn't taught to her. What I find, Kathy, is a lot of times, a lot of things are not discussed with us because it wasn't discussed with our parents. So how I'm going to discuss something with you that my mama ain't discussed with me? And that's where the thing comes. That's like me. When I got married, I know nobody have a roadmap to marriage but God, but nobody never told me. I got married. I was 19 years old when I got married. 19. I've been married since I was 19. Okay? I'm still married. Hardship and all, I'm still married. My mama never told me, oh, when you get married, you know things gonna happen. You gotta just stay there and work it out. But my grandmama told me on my husband's side, teeth and tongue will fall out, but teeth need tongue and tongue need teeth. Y'all will catch that on the way home. Teeth and tongue need each other. Your teeth gonna bite your tongue sometime. But you gonna say ouch, but you gonna still use it. So nobody gave me the road map to marriage. Trials, tribulations, arguments, disagreements. I learned that as I came along. My mama never taught me that. Okay, my daddy wasn't in the household the way he was, so I didn't have a father figure like that. So it wasn't taught that. So I think a lot of times with credit, it's not taught that. But then when you get older and you taught that, the bottom line, the credit to me with anybody, you got to just pay your bills. And that's where the deficiency come in with credit. And nowadays, you go on the internet. This is something I want to tell you about, Miss Lewis. People do credit repair. You got so many people on the internet. You got so many people on Instagram. They do credit repair. Let me tell you something. You can repair your own credit. And I'm going to give y'all this. I'm giving y'all this for free because I did it. I told y'all what my sister did. And just a couple of months ago, I got good credit, but I had some inquiries. Inquiries are when you banking for things and you trying to get yourself together. That's another thing you need to be taught. That's like if you going to buy a car, don't let nobody run your credit till you really know what car you really want. Paying bills and discipline, so you're absolutely right. So when you go buy a car, don't go to this car lot, letting people run your credit. I didn't know that. So when I'm at the bank, I'm letting everybody run my credit. Those inquiries take away points away from your credit. So I experienced that in working on a financial deal. I paid somebody to do they say, oh, Miss Davis, you got good credit. We'll just get the inquiries on. People promise you everything. People promise you everything when they're working with your credit. But what I learned, you could take time and do it yourself. Google got everything on it. And basically, you got yourself. And you know what really tricks me? You messed up the credit. Why you can't fix it? So I didn't mess up my credit because my credit was good, but the inquiries was nigging at my score. And I told y'all my goal is 800, over 800. So what I did was, one Sunday I was sitting home and I got Equifax, TransUnion, and Experience. I got all their numbers, the emails, and I went searching. Let me see this. So one day I got on the phone and I called them. I say, I'm such and such. You have to validate your identity. You know what they go through, ask you all these questions. What the last thing you purchased, all this stuff. And I told them I got some inquiries that I'm not aware that I gave people authorization to run my credit. They told me everything to do. Do you know I did everything the people said do? Those inquiries off my credit. I got had, now listen to what I'm saying. I'm not knocking credit, people. So y'all don't be DMing my boss talking about I'm knocking on credit. People just ain't who they say they is. They'll say they fix your credit. They gonna get your money and fix one thing and make you think they fix your credit. My whole thing about it is why you can't save yourself some money and fix it yourself. You messed it up. Like me, I made them inquiries. Get them off there. And all it takes is you to sit down long enough and Google. Google. But we don't want to do that. We want instant stuff. I want my credit instant. Oh, these people. And this particular individual allowed me to believe that it could happen instantly. But when I got had, I wouldn't even say I got had, because I thank God whatever money they got from me, God bless them. Because when you take from people and you didn't do what you're supposed to do, God, karma is something else. That's a whole other subject. But I'm telling you, you don't need people to fix your credit. You can fix your own credit. You know who you didn't pay. All you got to do is call the credit bureau or email them, go on their website and order a credit report. Pay that $24.95 or something. Order your credit report. Go on there. They got phone numbers next to the creditors that you didn't pay. Find them. Search them. Get account numbers. And call them people. I had a bad marriage. I'm divorced. My credit got bad. People got bad credit through the marriage. And that's another thing. That's a whole other subject, because I know I can't do it all the day. You never join credit together. You never join credit together. I'm going to tell y'all something about joint credit. I'm going to give y'all this big. We going to jump on it. I've been married for 38 years. I joined nothing with my husband. My husband joined nothing with me. We get on a house together. We get on a house together. That's it. We do not join credit, because you know why? If my credit go bad, I could use his. It's like water. If his credit go bad, he could use mine. But if we join together and it go bad, we stuck like Chuck. You don't join credit together. But that's a whole nother thing. I don't know. I'm telling y'all what Hard Knocks taught me. So you could get on the phone, I know everybody got the access to the internet. You got some churn. You could go on there and fix your own credit. You order your credit report. You see the deficiencies on your credit report. They don't even give you the credit score. Okay, I ain't paid them. I ain't paid them. And some of us got hospital bills. Hospital bills could be diffused. Okay? You got to get on there. A lot of times you don't try. You want somebody else who say they could do it. And the people ain't going to. Let me tell you something. I went through so much credit, people, I could probably pay 1 month of my mortgage. And I'm going to drop that to y'all. Because these people, I didn't want to do it myself. Oh, you know, I got it like that. I got money. I could just pay this person to do it. Guess what? They still ain't do it. I wind up having to do it myself. Sit down enough to take care of what's important. Credit is one of your lifelines. Let me tell you something. A person that don't have credit don't have no existence. And you could buy stuff. Let me tell you something. When you got credit, you're never broke. When you got good credit, you gonna get the good stuff. You see them people be advertising at 2.9. They know half of us black folks ain't gonna get no 2.9 because our credit ain't there. Very few people you put in the category because people don't like to pay their bills. They don't like to pay their bills. And all credit is paying your damn bills. Pay your bills. And if you can't pay it, don't get it. Like my mama say, if you know you can't afford that, why you trying to get it? That's how my mama used to say, why you trying to get it? I bought my rich home because I always wanted my dream home. I could afford it. Trust me, if I ever came to a point that we can't afford it, I'll sell it before I lose it. Come on now. I'll sell it before it make my credit bad. Because my credit could always get me something. And we don't like to pay bills. We don't like people to not see we ain't up with them. They got a Louis pocketbook. And I say this all the time, and I don't care who get mad when I say it. I see people with all these name brand pocketbooks. If you got a pocketbook on your shoulder that costs more than what you got in the bank, your priorities are in the wrong order. I don't care who you are. That's me too. I'm not going to buy no $6,000 Chanel just so you can see I got a Chanel bag and I ain't got no money saved in the bank. Priorities in the wrong order. And a lot of us need to be told that your priorities in the wrong. My priorities was in the wrong order. My priorities was in the wrong. I had to, go buy you a fake one. Fake it till you make it. You got a real bag on you and you paid all that money and you ain't got no money saved in the bank. Girl, go sit down somewhere. Try to impress people that matters. You know why I try to impress? The bankers. I ain't got to impress God because he already know who I am. I try to impress people that got more than me and can take me somewhere. Credit is important. I could go right now, honestly, and get $1 million off me, just off my name and my credit. It's important. You don't need money when you got good credit because credit is money. When I hear people say they ain't got no money, I say, you got credit? You go get a bank loan for $5,000 if you got good credit. Learn to pay your bills. And that's what's wrong with a lot of us. And we don't want to pay our bills. And James, you say, I need help with the medical bill. That's what you do. Listen, I done had them on my credit too. Diagnosis, where I done took an MRI. The insurance paid 30%, but I'm left with this. But guess what you do? You get on the phone and tell the people, I got insurance. Did the insurance pay their part? And if the insurance didn't pay their part, you make a payment plan for $5 a month, $10 a month. Do you know when you give people a little something, they'll never rate your credit bad. You know what make your credit bad? When you don't pay. When you don't pay. Because medical people will take $50 a month. That's your Starbucks money every morning. You know, we ride through Starbucks and get a little money. Credit. You are what you think you are. And a lot of people get upset because I don't dine with people that can't teach me nothing. Yo, you won't even sit in my company if you can't teach me nothing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't call me with the gossip. Call me with letting me know how I could make these 10,000, 50,000. Let's talk about that. Let's maneuver a little bit. And a lot of us don't want to pay bills. And what you say when you don't pay and dodge them phone calls, you think you hurting the creditors. You right. You right. You could not answer the phone dodging them creditors. Guess what they doing? They rating you. Then when you try to buy something, this what you do. You over there praying. Oh, Lord, give me favor. Oh, Lord, I hope Lord blind these creditors so you could get what you want. Why? When you could just pay your bills. When I go in the bank, I'm like Erica said this morning doing a sermon, walk with your chest up. When I walk in a bank, I don't even stand in the line to make a deposit. I walk with my chest up. Yeah, my credits go over 700 and I'm trying to get 8. I walk if though what I want. You only gonna have it if you walk and you possess it. You gotta walk it. You can't just talk it. You gotta walk it and live it. You want good credit? If it's bad, now fix it. Stop talking about how your credit was bad 5 years. You had a repo on your credit and somebody gonna get your credit. Get your own credit straight. Because all you're gonna do is get had. Can you use a pre-need on a credit report? I don't know nothing about that, James. I don't know. I don't know about that. I know one thing. If you don't pay people and they got the pen in their hand to call Equifax TransUnion Experience, they gonna rate you bad. And I gave y'all a credit thing. This is the credit scores according to the rich people. I'm gonna say rich people. 300 to 629 is bad credit. Y'all know where y'all at. 630 to 689 is fair. 690 to 719 is good. See, that's where I'm at on one of my creditors. I'm on the 619. Experience, I'm in the excellent because I'm over 722. 720 to 850 is excellent. That should be your driving force. Whether you own a business, you want to buy a house. And you know the thing about it is all of us want the same thing. Everybody want to buy a house. I don't even care if you renting. When you renting, they running your credit. Y'all got some evictions for renting? Go fix your credit. Go make a settlement with people. Let me tell you, it's the day and time now where people will take your story and help you. You just got to be honest. Don't tell me you can't do it, Rick. I don't even hear people say they can't do it. You don't do it because you don't want to do it. And some of us need to stop trying to live above our means and have everything to try to impress people. Like I said 10 minutes ago, what you think people care about, people don't even care about. You be like, Child, she looking at me, oh, they think I'm all that because I got this and that. Why would you care what people think? Let me tell y'all something. I love God so much. He the only person I care what they think. I love my mama, love my husband, I love my children, I love my family. I don't care what they think if it ain't positive. If you not depositing positivity in me, I don't want to hear it. And don't talk about, oh, I used to be. I did have bad credit at one point. I already told y'all I was a wretch under self-esteem problems. Married at 19, I was horrible. And I lived a life at one point I was trying to impress. I don't care what. When people come into my business, I want the people that want my service. If you don't want my service, I can't bury everybody. Because when you come in Hatley Davis, you're going to get the best of the best. And you know what people say? I think I'm all that. No, I don't. I think I'm all that in a bag of chips. Because if I don't think that way about Hatley Davis and me, you're not. And guess what? Hatley Davis don't owe nobody but the mortgage company. Okay? Now, I ain't trying to burn no mortgages. I'm trying to build interest. Because I'm going to tell y'all how it goes. I took my equity from 27th Avenue and bought 62nd Street. And I got my equity from 62nd Street finna open up another one. Y'all will catch that on the way home. That's for the people that's where I'm at. Okay? Do you know when your credit good and you bought businesses and you owe less, you could get, and you know another thing, a lot of people on there talking about business credit. Business credit is good. You should get business credit. You got a business, they say business credit is good and you both have business credit. I don't care what kind of credit you get, whether it's personal or business. Just get something you can afford to pay for. That's all I tell you. I don't care what kind of credit. Don't let nobody tell you, oh, you could get that business credit. Get it in your tax ID number. The tax ID number follow you too. And a lot of people are getting businesses that really don't exist just to get a tax ID number. And when they get a tax ID number, they get all this credit up under and they demolish that. You know what? That's a way to do it, but it's a dishonest way. And God don't flourish in dishonesty. And a lot of people are doing it. They getting business credit. They're going to buy cars. They're going to buy houses. They're going to buy all that stuff on business that they create. And they create this fraudulent income. And they go get these loans on their business credit. And then after they get so much of it, they can't really afford that. That's why people where they at, because they getting credit to make people think they got more than what they got. Just be, whether it's personal credit or business credit, do it the right way and get it the right way. I have business credit. And you know what I did to help me with me to be on time? I have an American Express card. I buy 99% of my stuff on my American Express card because in 30 days it got to be paid on. And I don't even need that because I'm diligent. I ain't going to get nothing I can't pay for because I already know what I could afford. If you can't afford it, why touch it? Like my mama say, you know you can't. Just leave that alone. Or do it like this. Wait till you can afford it. That's it. Sit amongst people that could teach you something. All these credit companies, I ain't knocking them. I ain't talking about people ain't doing it. People go consolidate their credit card with companies and this and that. You can do that yourself. All you got to do is train your mind. Change your thinking. Change your mind. Change your direction. After I went through a lot of credit, people who say what they'll do, as soon as they got my money, they used to call me all the time. Oh, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. Ready for you. As soon as they got my money, you see one little letter. Oh, all I see is one. Oh, you got to wait. That take time because they done got your money. You know, when people get paid, they act different when they not paid and when they get paid. But guess what? It took me to have to go through that to get one man. And I'm not mad about it. I love it. Because had I not been through that, I wouldn't be on this live telling y'all I know what I'm talking about. Credit is important. We can't do all the segment today on credit. I'm going to take segment number 2 next week, and we're going to do part 2 on credit. Let me tell y'all something. Repaying your credit is right at your fingertip. You can do it yourself. You don't need nobody to do it. You don't have to pay nobody to do it. You could get credit. You could get business credit yourself. But before you could get all of that, get diligent and change your mindset and be willing to pay people on what you create. Let your trustworthiness be everything. You remember a long time ago, they say a man's word is good as he could keep it. Just learn to pay people, and it will be nothing to pay your bills. And when you pay your bills, your credit score gonna reflect that. You go get a car. Oh, I can't get that Mercedes-Benz now. I've been in business 15 years. I've been married almost 40 years for me to get a house like this. I couldn't get this long time ago. Couldn't afford it. I waited till I can. Stop trying to do stuff prematurely when you know you're not there. Just to impress somebody or make people think. Because at the end of the day, you got to pay that. And it is so bad that something so important people don't value. And credit should be valued. It should be taught. And it should be taught in a way that you could take care of your own credit. You take care of your credit like you take care of yourself. Take care of your credit like you take care of your husband and wife. Take care of your credit like you take care of your children. And when you take care of it, it'll be good to you. You'll never hear no. Your interest rate won't be sky up the roof. All you got to do is do it. And let me tell y'all something. Don't get on here and tell me you can't do it, because y'all know how I feel about that. Ain't nothing you can't do. Credit is your lifeline. Credit is a privilege. Credit is an opportunity. Credit could take you places. Like it say, don't leave home without America. Credit could take you places your mind will wonder. Good credit. Good credit. Good credit. You want to be a millionaire? Be a millionaire with your credit. Because if you're a millionaire with your credit, you got $1 million in the bank. Be high with that. You can do that. And if some of y'all want to go to credit people, be lazy, go do it. I'm not knocking the credit people. I'm just saying you can save yourself some money. Okay? Can't nobody take care of your baby like you could take care of him. Can't nobody take care of Lori like I could take care of myself. Just like I say about prayer, I love when people pray for me, but can't nobody pray for me better than I can pray for myself. Okay? Now, if you got somebody that does credit and they giving you tips and they giving you nuggets, you take that. But if you the type of person that you believe in people like that, go ahead. I'm going to just tell y'all today. Credit is the ability of a customer to obtain goods or services before payment based on the trust that payment will be made in the future. Credit is so important. Credit is so important. I thank y'all so much again. Y'all know it's Sunday. My hour has passed up. We're going to do part 2 on credit. If y'all got questions that y'all want me to touch next Sunday at 4 o'clock the same time, if y'all got questions that y'all want me to touch about credit and y'all want me to discuss on my podcast, I'll feel free to tag y'all in so we can discuss. But I'm going to say to all of you today, you have to change your mindset. You have to be willing to change how you think. And when I say that, stop saying, oh, I don't need that. I ain't got to pay it. You need to pay it. If you got something or you got money or you was advanced or you got a credit card and you didn't pay, if you ain't going to pay it, don't touch it. Like the old people say. Okay? Credit say a lot about you. It says a lot. Try to walk in a bank and ask for something. Try to buy a house. Try to buy a car. You going to get it. That interest rate going to be so high on that house, you ain't going to be able to never do nothing with it. When you try to sell it, you ain't going to get nothing. You ain't going to get nothing. But going there with a good credit score, you can start demanding stuff. See, when I go in financial institute, I demand stuff. I had a bank that tell me, oh, Ms. Davis, we could do this. I say, you ain't going to tell me how you going to do it on my credit and my money. I'm going to tell you how it going to be done. When you got good credit, you can demand stuff. You could demand your treatment. You could demand a lot of things. Why you think people with money and good credit could do it? And let me tell y'all something before I close on my podcast. Don't think because people are rich, they got a lot of money. They got credit. That's why you see Chick-fil-A, you see them all over the place. That's money. That's his name. Okay? What people do, y'all see our ex-president, Donald Trump. He filed bankruptcy. He's still buying stuff. Okay? That's another thing. I could tell y'all about the bankruptcy too. But we're going to catch that on another segment. I thank y'all so much for joining in on another podcast. So don't tell me y'all can't do it. Y'all pray for me as I pray for me. I was so blessed today to have my spiritual covering announced today. Pastor Randall Hope, he is my spiritual covering that I go to a lot. I got other spiritual coverings, but he's the one that God has led me into the institution. And now I am a stronghold on that, because all of us need an earthly covering, a spiritual covering. So I thank y'all so much for joining into a podcast. So don't tell me you can't do it. And we're going to do part 2 on this credit thing, because credit is so very important. And it happens a lot in the black families, in the black homes. And we got to stop using the excuse what we wasn't taught. Now that we know better, let's do better. Y'all be blessed. And until next time, don't tell me you can't do it.